What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome back to our channel, and today I'm joined by Gabo. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. We're
Very good.
without Seb today. He is busy, and Omar is still recovering from his jet lag. So we'll have them tomorrow when we do our NFL live tomorrow. But today we're gonna do a bit of betting. Gabo and I are a bit of gambling, and and we're gonna do against the spread picks. We're gonna probably do this every week or every once in a while to see how well we do. I personally prefer against the spread compared to money line, just because a little bit more thought goes into it rather than money line. Sometimes the games are a bit too easy to pick. Against the spread is a little bit more difficult to predict. So, are you ready, Gabo? Who are we going to start
Yeah,
with?
just
Which team are we going to start with?
first of all, just to give some context behind that, you just had to have a sly comment about
Oh,
spread
of
and money line.
course. I hate
We've
money
been
line.
thinking about we've been thinking about doing like a bit of like a tournament kind of thing. Like,
Yeah,
since we didn't make it past our Survivor League, might as well make it interesting any other way. So
exactly.
we're gonna do a week by week pick competition. But Dan here is an avid favorite of against the spread, which is, I mean, look, I don't disagree. It does make it a bit more interesting, a lot more stats based as well, and you get to look at what the teams bring and whether they can beat the spread, beat stomp a team or not.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I mean, first of all, I guess the first one that I have listed here is the Chargers Chiefs. You weren't super high on the Chiefs. Oh, sorry, on the Chargers.
On the Chargers,
When we
no.
talked about this.
What's the spread for this one? +7.
+7 Chargers, -7 Chiefs. Yeah.
This is always the 7 throws you off whenever it's like this. I'm actually surprised it's that big a difference between the Chiefs and the Chargers, considering the Chiefs just lost and the Chargers are supposedly one of the better teams in the league. So I'm surprised that it's definitely as big as that. So I'm assuming this is at Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas, or at home, if the spread is that wide. I'm personally actually going to pick the Chargers, and that is purely based upon the ability of the Chargers defense being able to keep it a close game. And when you have +7, I think there's a big chance there. The Kansas haven't looked that good, to be quite honest with you, and that's why I think I'm going to go with Chargers +7. What do you think?
I agree. I think the Chiefs should take this game.
Yeah,
But I can't
agreed.
I can't say easier anymore. Like, I can't say that you're gonna take this game super easily.
Mhm.
It's just after what we saw from them for against the Ravens. It's just, I don't know. It just
Well,
didn't look
first
like
half it was
the
so easy for them as well. It was like 14-0. They're like blowing them away, and I was like, oh, this game's like it's gonna be easy. And then they kind of just fell apart. And I think defensively, the Chargers are a really good team. It's just offense, I'm not 100% sure on, not 100% sold on yet, which is why I would take the +7. So yeah, that's. I'm kind of shocked that we're both taking Chargers +7. But would you take on?
yeah.
What should we do money line as well? Like, are we gonna do that tomorrow? Are we gonna do our picks tomorrow with everyone?
I mean, yeah, we can do money line.
Okay.
Let's just get it out of the way. I mean, like I said, I do think that the Chiefs take it.
Yeah.
I don't see them, losing,
Yeah.
especially not in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
but I know last year, I mean, obviously these teams faced each other twice,
Yeah.
and I know last year it was very close games, and I believe the Chiefs actually snuck out a game, and I think they were the ones that stopped the Chiefs from going undefeated,
Yeah.
if I am not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I think Justin Herbert's going to keep it close. Mike Williams is showing to be a great fantasy asset for everyone.
Finally, that dude's been injured and like off and on for his entire NFL career. Amazing guy at Clemson. I drafted him in my dynasty and was like really high on him, and he didn't do anything until like this year because he's always injured, always like out of like the rotation, coming back from injuries, has one explosive game, then ends up with like
That's
it was so fluctuating. It was fluctuating way too much, and now you're kind of like seeing how good a player he actually is. So yeah, that's and also Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is top, probably the one of the most underrated top players in the NFL, I think. We talk about top wide receivers. Keenan Allen really is never in that conversation with most conversations, but I really do think he is a top wide receiver. So they definitely have the weapons. It's just whether Justin Herbert can, be better than he was last week and the week before. I just don't think he's been that great. But yeah, let's take the Chargers, and then I guess we can take Kansas City money line. I do think Kansas City do win, but Chargers +7 is too much to give up, I think, at this point with their defense. So and their offense too. So let's move on. What's the next game?
Bears Browns.
Oh, yikes!
At Cleveland, I believe.
Yep.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a try. He's +7 for Bears, -7 Browns. I already predicted this in when we start talking about the money line, and I do think that the Bears are actually going to take this game. So I'm going to go for the Bears +7 on this one.
You're going Bears +7? I think so too, just because when I've been watching the Bears, it's been very grindy, the games. The games are very slow, not that high scoring. That's why I would tend to go with the Bears here. I do think the Browns probably do end up winning. Remember, it also depends on Justin Fields, right? So Justin Fields is starting this game. Mm-hmm. Are we going to get Ohio State Justin Fields, or are we going to see a bit of difficulty as a rookie? Like Trevor Lawrence is going through those growing pains right now. Well, we see that with Justin Fields. Chicago is very much unknown. But I do want to ask you this, because your boy OBJ is playing for the Browns. Why are you not taking Browns -7?
Because that's just one player out of 53 in the roster.
I guess, but if you're so high on, I thought you were considering him being on your fantasy team, who'd be bringing in all those touchdowns for you.
I mean, look, I do think he's going to have a nice game, only because the volume has to be there. I did end up going for Cooks, and it did pay off. And I remember it was so funny though, because I was watching, I keep making notice of the fantasy footballers, the podcast that I listen to, and they were talking about preview for the Thursday game, and they were talking about later on. They were talking about the Browns and Bears game before the Texans game was played. So one of the guys was asking, "Well, I have a question for you. If you have OBJ, would you wait and see if he's going to play and put up the numbers, or put in Brandon Cooks today?" So I was like, "This is perfect. This is like what I needed." Although it was too late for me anyway. Yeah. But they all agreed. Brandon Cooks. It's just Mills might not be the best quarterback. To me, he actually played pretty okay.
For his first game.
Yeah, exactly. Given the situation where he's in, but Brandon Cooks definitely just stepped up. But going back to the Browns, look, whether OBJ has a good game or not, I just think Justin Fields is gonna show up in his first. I think we're bound to have. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe, but I think we're still bound to have a rookie quarterback this year pop off. So there wasn't like a Justin Herbert last year. There wasn't like a Lamar Jackson like 2 years ago.
The best one so far, I guess.
Yeah, like we haven't had that quarterback to like pop off, you know, and have for like a rookie of the year, so I feel like it's bound to happen. I think Justin Fields is going to come out swinging. I think Allen Robinson is going to have a monster game, and the biggest thing here is I think the defense. I think the defense is going to shut down the Nick Chubbers and Kareem Hunts, which is essentially what the Browns have in store, really. Yeah. So I'll take the spread and I'll take the money line for the Bears.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I believe in the Bears this time. Bears are very grindy. They're going to keep the game close, and they have the offensive weapons and they have the defensive weapons too. So I'm going to go with Justin Fields making his first return to Ohio in front of Ohio State fans, which most Cleveland Brown fans are Ohio State fans. I think he's going to get a pretty decent reception for, an away player. I have every faith in Justin Fields. Let's go Justin Fields.
Okay, over under 200 yards. Wait, 200 over under 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. You take it?
Passing touchdowns or just touchdowns in general?
Touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah, I would take that 200 because he's very much a runner, so I can see him running into the end zone and I can see him running in general. So
So you think this is rough on David Montgomery owners? Is that? But it's not like a Lamar Jackson type.
not really. Not. I don't think so because Justin Fields runs when he's in trouble. It's not like a designed play. It's kind of like steps back in the pocket. There's nobody open. He's not Ben Roethlisberger who's going to just launch it downfield and hope and pray. He's going to just escape the pocket and run to the sideline. And if there's an open gap, he's going to shoot through it. And he was really good at that in Ohio State, but, NFL is different from college. So, but I do, he's already scored a rushing touchdown. So, and that was a designed play, granted, but I don't think it's going to take away anything from David Montgomery. Remember, he's a rookie. You don't want your rookie quarterback launching into tackles all the time. Their lifespan's not going to be exactly very high if they do that. So I wouldn't worry too much at all.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna follow up here. Okay. Cool. I'm just gonna, as we go, I'm just gonna add these spreads to an actual bet and see where our odds are at the end.
What is it gonna be, like a 15-team parlay that we're gonna go for?
Exactly. Crap. Hey, if that guy was one team away, hey, maybe this is how we blow up
on it. Yeah.
This is how we blow up.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Moving on. I think this is completely wrong. I mean, I'm looking here.
Cardinals
-2.5.
No, so that was the opening. Opened at 2.5. That means like when they first began taking bets back in probably May or June, when the Jags were pretty high and the Cardinals are pretty low. Now it's at -8. Some places are taking -7.5. We could just take -7.5. I think that's kind of like the average. So -7.5 Jags versus Cardinals. Cardinals being the one -7.5. Jags +7.5. -7.5 +7.5. So who are you taking here? This one's a bit of a bigger one, but Jags have yet to win a game.
I mean, so the 7.5 makes it so it's not just a touchdown away.
Yeah.
So
you have to score
8 points or more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think after the game that they put up against Minnesota, I think they're bound to have another blow up. And what better team to do it against than the Jags? I think logically, statistically, everything's pointing in favor of this game just beating the spread -7.5. So
yeah.
The only thing I guess is I don't know if you've heard any updating news about Deandra Hopkins. I was hearing yesterday you were mentioning him that he might be questionable. I don't know if there's any
game time
good
decision.
Updates.
That's what it says. Decision. Yeah. Game time decision.
I still think even with or without him, I think actually if it's without him, watch for the Rondale Moores to be put in the lineups. Watch for, I think Chase Edmonds would be bound for finally a good game.
I think Rondale Moore should be started whether DeAndre Hopkins sits or not, because he's got more targets than DeAndre. So I think
he's looking like a WR2.
Yeah.
It's definitely not AJ Green, and it's definitely not Christian Kirk.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Chase Edmonds about to have a good game. I don't know. I just think Jaguars don't really have anything to fight back against this Cardinals team.
They don't. Yeah.
Cardinals defense might have gotten a little, slapped in the head from the Vikings, but I think they do have a good defense. With J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones on each side. Just I think this is a 5 over sacks.
Yeah.
On Trevor Lawrence. So I'll go with the 7.5 and by that logic, money line Cardinals.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This is going to be a blowout. I think this is going to be 14, 15 points, probably, maybe even more. Trevor Lawrence is going to go up against probably the hardest defense he's gone up against in his NFL career so far, and probably the hardest hitting offense as well. So not much to say. I would take the over on this as well. What's the over? Over under is, I can't even see it.
It is 51.5.
51.5. Oh, I'm not sure I would take it that high.
It's a high one. Yeah, that's a high one.
I wouldn't take it that high. But again, I hate betting the under. It's too sweating the entire game if you're betting the under. I'm very much an over or nothing. Although, having said that, I did bet one under in college football today, but it is proving me correct. So yeah, that one was a very easy. Almost, I like doing like a lock of the week. I would do this one, but I have another one which I think is slightly better.
Yeah.
So
I do agree with you with the that I'm also an over or nothing. It's just I much rather be rooting for them to score more touchdowns
right,
than
and you have to
rooting.
like wait the entire game. Like the over could be done by the first half or the third quarter, but like the under could be like looking really good in the first half, and then all of a sudden the second half is just like touchdown bombs all the time. So
Yeah.
that's why I hate betting the under. It's just you sweat way too much the entire game. It's awful. If it goes to overtime, you're kind of screwed. I hate it. I would never touch the over on pretty much anything. Yeah, I try to stay away from ever betting the under. Next one, Washington football team versus Bills. Currently +7 for the Washington football team, -7 for Buffalo Bills. What are you thinking about this matchup?
I don't know, dude. I know logically, Bills are, we even ranked them like as a Super Bowl contender. I didn't personally watch too much of the game against Dolphins, but I mean, it has to say a lot if your defense shuts them out, even if it's against Jacoby Brissett and after them losing Tua.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just Josh Allen hasn't seemed like the first round draft that everyone picks in fantasy leagues, and just game wise, it just doesn't seem like the same as last year.
Yeah.
I do see them taking the game. I just don't know what to expect from Washington defense.
Right.
And by that, also, I don't know what to expect from Heineke. I mean, Heineke had a bum of a game last game.
Yeah, he did.
That was against the Giants. Those defense is a little harder.
Yeah.
So this is the tough one. Where's your head
at? We were talking about, not to talk about the spread, we were talking about under overs. I think I would take the under on this game. What's the under over in this game currently?
It is 45.5.
Oh, I think I would take the under in this game. I really do think I would take the under, but I'm not gonna bet that. I'm just saying, like, if I had to choose under over, I have a feeling that this is very much like the Bills' defense is super good, so I don't see Washington scoring all that much. I think a Washington football team you're gonna get at Josh Allen, so he might be limited in touchdowns. So I'm really feeling like this could be an under game, but I don't like betting the under, so I'm going to steer away from that. I do think the Bills are going to win. Whether they win by 7 or more is another question, but Bills are ranked number 1 defense so far in the NFL. I'm going to take the Bills -7, and if I had to, I'd take the under as well.
You know what? I'll agree with you. I mean, I'm trying not to think with my heart, which I want them to do trash so we can move the Packers above them back again in our rankings.
Yeah, right.
But I also think I'm just overhyping Washington. I've been overhyping them a bit too much, and with Fitzpatrick going down, I should probably calm down. But Heineke just showed that he could do it. Yeah. Curtis Samuel is looking good. Yeah, he's in the IR, but he's running, so he's bound to come back. I think that's going to be a great addition to that team.
Yeah.
The Gibson owners, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to ride the wave.
He is not looking great, to be honest with you. Like, everyone was riding this guy as like a top 5 running back, and he's not a top 5 running back in my book.
I mean, Omar picked him in first round. The end.
He was at the end. He was like 12. I think, generally in our drafts, it's usually like 5 running backs, and then we go to wide receivers, or, one of the tight ends like George Kittle or Travis Kelce. I would pick like the top 5 running backs, and then I would go to wide receivers, and I wouldn't even look at Gibson until like late second, to be honest with you. That was my strategy anyway. If he ever fell to me, before late second, early third, I wouldn't touch him, just because he had a couple good games. He had like the starting position and everything, but Washington just doesn't seem like a great team right now. Like, offensively, it doesn't seem that great. Like, Terry McLaurin is amazing, obviously, but aside from that, it's not a great landing spot for any running back, I don't think.
No, I mean it was just the volume. I mean, he was being poised for that workhorse load of like 20 to 25 touches per game.
Right.
He was taking over the likes of Najee Harris, David Montgomery, Joe Mixon. So
right.
I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I had. I mean, basically in all my drafts, I had like the fourth or fifth pick. I was
Right.
so lucky.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I remember it was funny because Yahoo, when the order was given to you, you got like they give you like report cards and all that after draft and all
Right.
that stuff. But before that, they also told you like little stats about your draft position, and it said that last year in Yahoo at least, fourth pick, fourth overall pick was the one that brought in the most champions.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Um,
What pick was I in this league? Third? In our league, like the League of Nations league. I think I was
well,
third.
you had Derrick Henry. Yeah.
But someone took Matt Patrick Mahomes before me. So it was like, I'm pretty sure it went Christian McCaffrey. And then.
You were fourth, actually.
I was fourth?
Yeah, you were fourth. I was fifth in this one.
Oh, yeah, because I got Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Like, it worked out perfectly for me. Still can't believe
I
that.
remember being right before you and after you. Remember that.
All right, awesome. Okay, wait. So what's your pick? We kind of like derailed there for a second. Who's your pick?
Bills.
Bills and Bills money line.
Bills. Yeah, Bills and Bills money line. Yeah.
Throw in the under as well there. I want to see if I'm correct on the under. I'm not ever really one to take the under, but I'm feeling juicy about this one. This is probably going to be like a 60-point game, but
45.5 was it, right?
yeah, 40. Well, I can't remember, but 45.5. That's decent, man. That's decent. I'm happy with that. If the Jags in Arizona is like 51, that's less than one touchdown more. I'm taking it every day of the week. All right, so Colts, Titans. I love this. The AFC South matchup. A lot of people were taking the Colts prior to the season starting. I think the beginning of the spread was -1 Colts, +1 Titans. That has moved dramatically. I think one of the biggest movers in all of NFL right now. And the Titans are now -5.5. Colts +5.5. What are you thinking?
Crazy. I had no idea they had the Colts up there so high. I think this is easier than I thought. I think this is Tennessee all the way. The -5.5 is actually quite easy
Pretty
to
generous.
beat here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Pretty
believe it.
generous.
Carson Wentz is coming off a double ankle sprain, both ankles. Their backup's not any good. They just don't really have anything other than Jonathan Taylor, like offensively. Their defense is good, I'll give them that, but when you have the firepower of Julio Jones, AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, you need to have offense to beat this team. This is not a team where you can just like hope your defense like stops them every single time. It's just not going to happen. You saw that last week. Eventually, the defense crumbles and Derrick Henry is let loose. This is easy. -5.5 Titans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people discredit the amount of emotion that goes into this game, and I think this team, the Titans, are coming from a lot of momentum.
Right.
They just throw an amazing comeback against the Seahawks. I think they were down 24 points.
Right.
Derrick Henry came from a monstrous second half.
Right.
He's going to continue to do that. Julio Jones and Tannehill finally connected.
Yep.
It's like sparks are flying and
Yep.
everything's connecting properly. So I think the Titans they needed to be taken down before brought up again. I think that the Cardinals smacking them in the butt was necessary.
Yeah.
But I think this is a team that is a force to be reckoned with. And these AFC matchups are always high scoring. I would definitely go for the over here.
What's the over this one?
Let's take a look.
I'm just worried about the
48.
Colts scoring. To be honest, I don't really have an issue with
Not.
Titans.
I mean, they scored 20+ points against the Rams. I'm not really that
True, but
scared about that.
yeah, we'll see. Well, I just want to say this is my lock of the week, -5.5 Titans. I think we should also track our locks of the week because that should be like, it's easy picking like 15, 16 teams and hitting on like half of them, I think. But being lock of the week, like 100% on something that's a lot more difficult. I am super high on the Titans this year, and I'm super high on them in this game. I think they crushed the Colts. I just don't understand why the Colts were so heavily favored in preseason. It made no sense to me when you looked at the two teams. So
much relief for Carson Wentz, dude.
Yeah.
It's just
it's an
he's a
overhyped
great
quarterback. Yeah, it's if I were the Colts, I would have probably tried to move up in the draft and steal a rookie quarterback to be honest with you. They have a young team, young core. I mean, Carson Wentz is not old, but he's not good. He's not like a superstar quarterback. He's never going to get you anything which is outrageous. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't like the Colts very much anyway. So
I think he's a great quarterback. I just think he was stuck behind a terrible O-line for far too long. That banged him up quite a bit over the years. And
that's 100%.
Late, you know? So
there's no doubt that he's a good quarterback. I just think that time in Philadelphia really kind of hurt him. Took too many sacks. Not as confident as he probably was coming in as a rookie. But yeah, okay, we're done with that one. I remember to do your lock of the week for you as well. I don't know if this one was your lock of the week or not, but.
Okay, so what do you mean by luck of the week? It's be like something.
So like you're like
if I get it right, it's two times bonus.
No. So like we're just gonna keep track of luck of the week, but you're only allowed one bet. Like it's your best bet of the week. So like my number one bet would be -5.5 on the Titans.
Okay.
I just think it's 100%.
And if you get it right, do we add like an extra point? Making like a double, like for example,
we can double it. We can like times 2 it, so it's worth 2 points rather than 1 point, if that's what you want to do.
So like there's 16 games that you gotta get right, and if you get 16, it's kind of like, well, you don't watch Formula 1 with us, but it's kind of like the fastest lap, you get an extra point.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So it's kind of like that, you know?
Okay, I like it. All right.
I'll look. I haven't thought about my luck of the week, so we'll go through these all, and then I'll decide at the end.
Okay, fair enough. I like this next matchup: Falcons versus Giants. Falcons are +3 at most bookies right now. +3, which is a very annoying number. I hate +3s. Hate +3s. Giants -3, obviously. This is really we talked about this earlier in the week because we were ranking. Every week we go through our NFL team rankings, and both of these teams are like in the lowest tier or second lowest tier if you add like trash of the week. So this really kind of
have the Giants above.
Yeah, Giants are way above. Giants are way above the Falcons. Falcons are literally at the bottom. Like the Jets are bottom, but the Falcons are very, very close. What are you thinking about this matchup? Where are you going? Where is your money on this one? If you're ever going to put money on this one.
I mean, we are, but thankfully in Bet365 it's 2.5. So
it's 2.5. Okay, cool. We'll go 2.5 then. I like that. Cool. That's better than 3.
Yeah, so I still don't like it though, because
I think it changes my pick. It really changes my pick. If it's +2.5, it changes my pick.
So what's your pick now? The Falcons?
I was gonna go Falcons +3. Now I'm gonna go Giants -2.5.
Okay.
Because I think the Giants were gonna win by a field goal or less. So I was gonna take Falcons, and then but now because it's 2.5, all they need is a field goal to win. So I would go Giants in this one. But now I'm flip flopping. I'm thinking
now your money line is Giants, right?
Yeah.
So
I think actually. This is so difficult. This I looked at this earlier today, and this was my joint hardest one for sure. Joint hardest. And I'm still flip-flopping on this one. So you can go first. So while I'm thinking in my head.
Okay, let's look at the facts. It's at New York. Evan Ingram, is he back? I think he's back. Daniel Jones has been having a monstrous season so far. It's only been 2 games.
Mm.
Barkley is still bound to explode. And what do the Falcons have other than Calvin Ridley?
Kyle Pitts, I think, is doing as well as I expected him to do. He's getting the volume. He's getting the catches. They just aren't going for that many yards. It's not like he's dropping passes. It is Matt Ryan passing him the ball. So there are some that are way too. I was watching the Falcons game last week. There was one that was 2 feet over his head after Kyle Pitts had jumped, and he's probably the most athletic tight end in the league right now. The talent is 100% there. I think he's going to be probably the top tight end within the next handful of years. So they do have that. They do have Calvin Ridley. Mike Davis is average. You know, the one person who has been like spark out of nowhere is like Cordell Patterson. Like that guy, I would never think of ever. And now I'm thinking about picking him up because he can play running back and wide receiver, and he's averaging about 12 points a game right now.
He's doing not just that. So he's a running back, wide receiver, and he's a special teams punt returner.
Right. Not that many people, give you that touchdown anyway.
Yeah, but he has that extra juice, if he goes there. What I really don't like is like you keep your punt receiver, you can run 99 yards and don't make it to the line and get nothing.
Right. Yeah, I know. No? Yeah.
But
I do think I wish fantasy football. I'm sure some leagues do, but fantasy football incorporated those like run backs, like 0.1 points for every 10 yards that you run back for. So if you run 90 yards, you get 0.9 yards on your special teams, but you really get nothing. Like the special teams itself gets you like pretty much nothing unless you are really lucky. Like I don't think there's been a kickoff return touchdown through 2 weeks. Yeah. No. So it's rare. It's rare. It rarely happens, but I'm just saying I prefer if like there was more involved in the DST tier because it really is not that great. But
yeah, the thing is like I guess okay, you know what? I'll agree with you to add those points more into the DST because at the end of the day, DST is defense special teams. That's what it stands for.
Yeah, right.
The only thing that I agree is with for the individual player, I think it's perfectly balanced that he can get you those extra 6 points. Mm-hmm. Why? Because as an owner, you are already in risk of this guy getting injured because those hits are insane.
Yeah, that's true.
As a punt returner, you're just gonna get smacked in the, and you're gonna get.
And there's the risk of the fumble. If you're a punt returner and you fumble it in fantasy, does that count as a fumble or not?
No, I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Pretty sure Tyreek Hill is a punt returner, so there's like one huge top tier player to do that.
But the thing is, I mean, like I said, so it's like, if you're willing to put that risk on that player, then you should get rewarded if he does that well.
Yeah.
On the other hand, as someone playing against him, it would be quite unfair if he gets all those easy 20 yards every time he grabs the ball and runs a bit. Like just 2 points extra. It brings up the value of these special teams like so much.
100%.
Then again, a lot of these are just like in the defense, like back to the old Deion Sanders, era. Like it was a beast. Anyway, back to the game. I think Matt Ryan had the best game that he's gonna have all season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna have another big game. So I'm gonna take the Giants -2.5 and moneyline Giants.
Nice.
They're both 0-2. So. Yeah.
And I think Barkley's gonna have a breakout game. Not just because I I think he is like. This is the easiest. The thing is, he's like just limited on his snaps, so his actual play is decent. He broke off a 41-yard run. He's catching the ball. He's just not playing his like 80 to 90% of snaps plus 20 rushing. He's literally half of that. So if you double his score from last week, he's getting about 16, 17 points, which is decent. I hope they let him off the chain this week, but who knows? Yeah. I really don't know where to go with this one. It's such a tight. You may as well go money line, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go with Falcons. We're gonna change it up because we have picked the exact same thing every time so far. I think.
Hey, we're supposed to do a bet on this, so if we agree on all this, then it's perfect.
Okay. Well, we can sort that out afterwards. So I'm gonna go with Falcons. It's +2.5, right? Okay, I'll go Falcons +2.5. And then I'll go Giants money line. So I should win one of those. Is my thought process there. Surely I will win one of those two. This one I personally wouldn't put a bet on just because I don't know. This is such a up in the air 0-2 teams playing each other. I just don't. like it.
Well, look,
So
like you said, the -2.5 for the Giants is 1.83 to 1. The
right,
money line is 1.66.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
much
So
rather just go money line.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'll go Falcons plus 2.5. I wish it was plus 3.5, but I actually kind of want to see on my really quickly what it says on my betting sports book, whatever you want to call it, because if it's plus 3.5, it changes everything. Plus 2.5 is really annoying to look at.
Well, right now we're only at 16 parlay, and we are at 40 to 1 odds.
It's pretty high. I like it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's plus 2.5 on mine as well. Dang it. Okay, yep. Lock it in. We should move on. This one was close to being lock of my week. Patriots versus Saints. What are your thoughts on this? It's plus 1. Plus 1, -1. This probably will never make a difference. I'm sure. Sorry, plus 3. Sorry, I was looking at the previous one. It's plus 3, right? Minus 3.
Yeah, I have it as -2.5.
Yeah.
Again, the same issue.
Same issue again. I'm still. This one's difficult. What kind of Saints team is going to come out? That's the question. Is it going to be the one that played the Packers? Or is it the one that came out last week and got absolutely torched? I think I'm going to take Saints plus 3.
I'll do it. I think so too. I just don't think the Patriots have enough juice to score. I'll give the credit to the defense. Like the Patriots defense has been killing it.
Yeah.
I think it's a very strong team, but like you said, I mean, it sucks that it's a toss-up of like what Jameis Winston we're gonna get.
The good news is I don't think Alvin Kamara is going to have the game he had last week. Just to have 2 bad games in a row doesn't really ever happen to him. So I think if Jameis Winston is going to play like he did last week, they just got to give the ball to Kamara. I really do. I think that's the only way you can really play.
You can do what the Titans did.
Yeah.
They didn't give the ball. That's the problem. It's not like he had 20 attempts, 5 yards. He rushed 10 times.
Yeah. I don't understand it either. I don't know if it's because they were behind, but you should really start the game and end the game with Alvin Kamara. He is a pass-catching running back as well. I don't understand unless there's like an underlying issue that we're not aware of, but I don't think that's the case because you wouldn't be playing him in those amount of snaps. You know, I really didn't understand the game plan for the Saints there. But yeah, this is really very much a hope and pray that Alvin Kamara is involved. If he's not, then I would take the Patriots 100% because I'm sure Bill Belichick is thinking, you stop Alvin Kamara, you stop the Saints. But yeah, I believe in Alvin Kamara, so I'm gonna just take the Saints based on that. Also, Marshawn Lattimore is coming back. I think their top cornerback. I think he's being activated this week, and that's been a huge miss for them. So defense has gone empty. So I would take the Saints as well. I just remember that.
I think with not to say that Marshawn Lattimore is going to carry them to the motherland, but I do think it's a huge ego boost as well.
It's a huge
motivation boost.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
I wouldn't be opposed looking at Mac Jones getting 2 interceptions here.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
The Saints D is not bad. That's
Yeah.
the thing. The Saints defense is not bad. So we're gonna have to see. But I agree. I'll take the Saints money line and 2.5.
Cool, nice one. All right, let's move along. This one's an interesting one because the line is a biatch. It is Ravens versus Lions. Ravens -7.5. Which Ravens team's going to come out? We don't know.
Which Lions team?
And which Lions team is going to come out? We don't know. So, what are you thinking?
No, I do. I think this is going to be super. I think this might be my. I'm still not yet, but I think this might be my lock of the week.
Okay, nice.
Look, not Stafford. Jared Goff. You know, he's been proving us that he's got what it takes. Whatever.
Right.
He's rewarding every Hawkinson owner.
Right.
But he just doesn't have what it takes to clutch a game.
Yeah, I would agree.
You're gonna get maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns like he did with the Packers, and then that's it. I mean, sure, with the 49ers, they had a bit of a close match, but that game was super weird. I mean, it was like a pure demonstration of what hubris gets to you, and then just it's like,
Right.
forget about the game.
Yeah.
But no, the Ravens are coming from a big win in Baltimore against the Chiefs. Turnaround, what an amazing end. Lamar Jackson had a few insane cheat hacking passes.
What about his health though? Is that not a concern on the line at all for you? What happens if he doesn't play? What happens if he does end up sitting?
I saw that he is going to play. That's why I'm super confident. So I saw that he's good to go. I wish Seb would be here so I could tell him not to worry, not to panic.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm playing against him, so let him panic. But no, I think Lamar plays. Who would play if
it's a guy called Huntley. He's actually really good. I would still have 100% faith. I watched him in preseason. That guy is like a carbon copy. I think a better passer than Lamar and not as good a runner, but still has that running ability. He is very, very good. I think he is better than quite a few quarterbacks in the league who have starting jobs. So they are very fortunate in that regard. I think, I think if he was on the Saints, he would start with the Saints. I think if he was on the Jets, he would start the Jets. There's quite a few teams. The Texans, he was starting the Texans. I think he's a really good player. He just has, he's got the backup job in Baltimore. So we'll see. So I wouldn't be too worried if Lamar doesn't even play. But yeah, I'm definitely taking Ravens -7.5. There's no question.
I think this is going to be a 14+ game.
Yeah.
Difference.
I am just worried about the fact that the Lions stuck around so much. Well, first game made a huge comeback. Second game stuck around with the Packers for a whole half, which is pretty amazing to do considering the talent gap between the Lions and the Packers. I know the Packers pulled away, but
the defense is not that good for the Packers. So it's like,
yeah, true, but I would say the offense is not as good on the Ravens. They've lost all their running backs. They don't have nearly as good wide receivers. Their quarterback's not nearly as good. So that was my rationale anyway, but I do think Ravens probably cover this.
Tyson Williams over under 80 yards. Rushing.
That's a bit high for me, I think. I think that's a bit high. I think I'd probably go under.
Okay.
Just because it's rushing. If it was total yards, I think that would be different. That's another story. Would
you still start him over Rondale Moore?
Tyson Williams? No. I think
you start Rondale Moore?
Rondale Moore ahead, yeah.
Why'd you lie to me when I asked, huh?
When?
And I asked, I have no idea who to put in flex. And I have Tyson Williams, Damon Harris, Rondale Moore.
Well, I mean, it's both of them are a start. I think Rondale Moore is a better start. Because when you asked me, I was Deandra Hopkins at that point. I don't think he was a game time decision. I think he was questionable.
Okay.
But because he's a game time decision, it's up in the air. But that to me, even the fact that he's a game time decision makes me want to even put Rondale Moore on anyway, even if DeAndre Hopkins plays, because that to me means he's not fit. He's not fit to play his usual snap count. But I don't think you can go wrong with either. They're both playing really crappy teams.
It's a PPR league. That's why it's pushing me a bit more to Rondale. But
yeah,
because Tyson is not a pass catching running back. They don't really do that there. Yeah. But all right, so we're sticking with the Baltimore Ravens -7.5.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one, which would be
Bengals versus Steelers. Bengals +3. That line has changed a little bit because Big Ben is banged up and there's no confirmation whether he will play or not. So if Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph do get the start for the Steelers, I don't know if that's a negative or a positive. I'm not really sure if Dwayne Haskins would play better than Big Ben just because he has more mobility. Maybe that helps the Steelers out. Who knows?
Every time he started in an NFL game, I don't think he's had a good game.
Yeah.
He's had
That's
preseason,
true.
he didn't look that good either, but again, it's preseason.
So where are you taking here?
I'm taking the Bengals +3.
Bengals +3.
I think his name.
I think I'm going to take the
Blanking out.
Steelers -3.
Blanking out on the quarterback for the Bengals.
Yeah, I think Steelers -3 still. But
Same,
also
yeah.
TJ Watt is ruled out. So you saw what happened when, TJ Watt was pulled from the game from the Raiders. The Raiders kind of like got a bit pass happy, and there was a lot of open players. So it's a difficult one, but I just don't see the Steelers going 1-2. They are 1-2, right?
I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Steelers minus. I wish it was -2.5. Are you sure it's -3? I wanted to change it to -2.5. Let me quickly check my sports
Isn't
website.
Bet365?
Yeah, it's -3. Dang it, because some are saying -2.5. I'm gonna go -3, just because I believe in the Steelers. If they lose against the Bengals, I'm not sure I can take them against anyone else for the rest of the season. If it's only -3, right? It's not like it was -5.5, which would make it a bit different.
I think this is kind of like that game with the Falcons and Giants where we probably won't. I won't probably bet. I will stay away.
Yeah.
I just don't know what Bengals we're gonna get. Joe Burrow is having kind of like a nice comeback season.
Yeah.
Showing that the whole ACL issue wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
With Jamar Chase, with his buddy there from LSU, they've just been popping off. Joe Mixon's, showing a bit of like the workhorse finally,
Right.
without Giovanni Bernard there in the secondary, second running back behind him. Who else? T. Higgins looking pretty well. I don't know. I just feel like the offense is there to stay apart, but the defense, because TJ Watt is out, and there was a lot of other banged up players in the defense, I think the Bengals D is going to come out swinging.
Yeah.
He keeps saying, the bench just doesn't know what to do when he has people running at him, and I think he's going to have a lot of it. So I think Deontay Johnson is out.
Correct.
Deontay Johnson is out.
believe him and TJ Watt are both out.
Yeah, they're both out. I'll take the +3. Probably won't bet, but
No, I don't think I would either. But I think
Right,
Najee
right.
Harris will get more of the ball this time around. He played really well last week, but I think that's just going to be they're going to be involving him more and more. And with Johnson now, I think he's going to get a little bit more of the ball, and I think that's better for the Steelers. So. The less the ball is in Big Ben's hands, the better. So I think Najee Harris will be very much involved in the game this coming tomorrow. Should we move on? Jets versus Broncos.
Big one.
This spread is huge.
It's huge.
-10.5.
It's 10.5, man. It's just, the Jets have not shown any signs of goodness.
I think you have to go Broncos -10.5. I would be surprised if the Jets even score against this defense. This defense is better than the defense they played last week. So you based upon that, how many interceptions is Zach Wilson gonna be throwing? 5, 6, 7 every possession? I have no idea. Like, this is gonna be. I'm surprised it's even 10.5. I thought it'd be closer to 13.5 maybe.
Wow.
Because the Jets just don't score and the Broncos actually look like a competent team. Cortland Sutton looks amazing coming off his injury. So I'm 100% going -10.5. I think if you're taking Jets +10.5, you're sweating bullets the entire game. And you're praying for touchdowns. Like, I just don't believe in that team. They don't have a running back. They don't have a good quarterback. They have half decent wide receivers, but not really actually that good wide receivers. They're kind of like they were thrown off of other teams, and they've just landed at the Jets. They just don't have anyone. The Broncos pretty much the opposite, to be honest with you. Teddy Bridgewater is an okay quarterback. He's, I'd say, a little bit above average compared to all the quarterbacks we have in the league currently. So. I see the Broncos killing them.
Yeah, I agree. We have our boy here, Omar, in the chat asking if we matched on purpose. Yes, we did indeed. We're trying to help you and your team go through. Hopefully the 49ers have have a good game finally.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that team
Finally.
in a bit. But no, I agree with you. I think Teddy Bridgewater is actually making wonders with the Broncos. Like you said, Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick now are looking pretty decent. They have Noah Fant in the tight end. Big skill gap there. And like you said, the defense sucks that Bradley Chubb is out for the rest of the season. But
yeah, and also Melvin Gordon's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence this year. He's only on one touchdown, but he went for 100 yards against the Giants, which is not that difficult to do. But they've got a rushing game and they have a passing game, so the Jets don't have anything. So I really think
they just don't have anything.
I think that's kind of going for the Broncos there. So are we locking in minus 10.5?
Yeah, I mean, watch us lose because of this one. It's gonna be like 9-point game. Then I have Broncos. Money line, obviously Broncos. Let's lock it in, and I'm good to move on. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about here.
This one, this next matchup is incredibly close to being my lock of the week. Incredibly close. Could be like joint lock of the week. Dolphins versus Raiders. Raiders minus 3.5. The Raiders have beaten the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. The Dolphins couldn't even score a single point last week against the Bills. I am 110% going Raiders minus 3.5. I might actually have some big cojones and go like minus like 10.5, like the alternate handicap that you can do, the alternate spread. I would happily go like at least like minus 7.5 Raiders, but if the spread is only minus 3.5, I'm not gonna argue. Easy Raiders minus 3.5.
Look, I'll tell you right now. So minus 10.5 is 3.25. One. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It is not bad. You can even put your $20 in there and triple it.
Yeah, this is so easy. I don't understand this line. How can you possibly put the Dolphins with no Tua? Like, yeah, and it just makes zero sense to me. I don't know. The sports books must know something that we don't.
We don't. Yeah.
Or they're completely off on this one. Like,
that's worrying me because this is my survivor pick.
It is
for my So
I think it's a solid one. I don't think you can argue this one. What's the downside to this? What did the Dolphins have that the Raiders can't suddenly beat? The Raiders have a good defense, have a much better quarterback. Josh Jacobs should be back.
In Miami, dude. They're not even playing in Miami. Like,
it makes no sense, man. This is a. I think I'd put like 100. I don't have that much money, so 100's a lot to me. $100 on this game. So, yeah. I mean, man, it's a weird one to me. It's a weird one.
I might just put $20 on the spread, 3.5.
Yeah, this one's super easy. What we should do is if me, you, Seb, and Omar all get our locks together, we should just put like a little four game parlay together and put it on that. That's what I'm thinking.
All right, we'll do that after. Let's sort it out.
We can do that tomorrow. We can see if the spreads move at all. We'll wake up in the morning and it'll be Raiders minus 10.5.
That's why we need to put the bet now.
Yeah, true. I'm assuming you feel the same way.
I mean, I honestly, I'm shocked. I just don't know. I don't see what the Dolphins do. I don't see how they score with Jacoby Brissett leading that offense.
Yeah.
And even if they do, not to say that the Dolphins are a bad team, but the Raiders are a killer team. I mean, Derek Carr is leading passing yards in the league right now.
Yeah.
The defense is looking solid AF. I'm sure Josh Jacobs isn't playing. I think he's still out, but
maybe you can't say the Dolphins are a bad team, but I think you can definitely say they're an overrated team.
Yeah.
Like I was always one though to say that Tua is overrated, the Dolphins are overrated. I just always thought that. I'm glad that it's happening, that we're kind of like seeing it come to fruition, because it was so annoying that they were ranked so highly by so many experts. Just made zero sense to me. I guess they're getting Will Fuller back, which gives them a bit more offense, a really good deep threat, but that doesn't explain he can't put up 35 points a game to rescue this team. There's a lot a lot more other issues that you kind of have to come to terms with. So I think we can lock that in and move on. This one is the hardest one of the week, 110%. Bucks versus the Rams. The Bucks are -2. The Rams are +2. This one, it's basically you can just, I don't know. I flip a coin and hope. This is a toughie.
To me, it's actually a bit. I think the Bucks are looking better last year.
Right.
Sure, the Rams are as well, but they did show a bit of a weakness against the Colts.
Right.
So pretty much the spread being at 1.5, it's basically just money line at this point. So I mean, it's gonna
now
suck
that
if
you've
they win
said
by
that
1
someone's
point.
gonna win by 1 point.
Yeah, exactly. I will take the Bucks. They are playing in LA.
Yeah.
I just think the Bucks take this game. I would put on the money line here just because of that 1.5.
I think it's
I don't see myself.
Tom Brady's first time ever playing in LA. Weirdly.
Really?
Because he's always played on the AFC side, and I guess he's never had because San Diego Chargers only just moved to LA, and the Rams only just moved from St. Louis, so it's only recently that they've kind of had an LA team, which is kind of weird. Now they have two. To me, the one issue I see with the Rams is perhaps their running game, with Darrell Henderson being very questionable, game time decision. If he is not running, they only have Sony Michel. Michel is very much an RB2 on that team, not someone who is going to be explosive, not exactly a pass catcher, not a game changer, not a 3-down back. He is very much a role player. The Bucks are just solid on every single front, and that's why... is it -1.5? On my screen, everything just changed. It went from -2 to -1.5. Can you check that? Can you refresh your page?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It's -2.5 now.
Okay, so
No, never mind. -1.5.
On my screen, it said it was -2. Now it's -1.5. So it just changed.
Okay.
So let's quickly get our picks in. I'm gonna go Bucks -1.5. This very much is. I mean, even a safety can change this outcome really. So
I'm almost down to just like to not have that risk of losing by a point. I might just go money line on this.
I'm sure it's barely anything. It's probably, I don't even know.
One of a difference.
Fractional difference, yeah. So I'd go Bucks.
All right, cool. Pretty on point, man. We're pretty similar here. I think we've only had 2 differences.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the games this week have been really easy to kind of predict, especially money line wise. And saying that, we're probably going to get like at least 50%, probably 60-70% of these wrong. But on paper, looking at it, I think there's going to be like a heavy handle leaning to one side. It's not going to be 50-50. It's very much going to be 80-90%. So we're going to Seahawks versus the Vikings. Vikings at home, +2. They opened at -1. They're now +2. Vikings have yet to win a game. But the thing to know is the Vikings have kept it close every single game. Very, very close every single game by field goal or less, correct? Field goal or less every single game. But it's only +2, which makes it not... If it was +3, I think it would be very, very solid pick on the Vikings. I think the Vikings, this is a must-win game. I think if you continue to lose, you're going down the rabbit hole of expecting to lose. My one worry is Dalvin Cook. He is expected to play. I think if I was going to take an over... I would take the over on this game. Do you know what the over is on this game, Gabo? You can hit me up with the over. Hopefully it's not too high.
55.5.
55.5. Yeah, I thought it'd be quite a high score game. I'm not really too sure on that. I don't like anything over 50, to be honest. But I'm gonna go with Vikings +2. I believe in Seb's team. I'm gonna do it for Seb. I'm gonna lock in Vikings +2.
Okay, so here it's +1.5.
Oh, it's +1.5. Jeez. God, that's even closer. May as well just do money line. It's at Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings. Still going to lock it in Vikings. They got to win. They got to win in front of their fans, man. They have to win at some point, right? They have to win.
I'm gonna lock in money line on our bet. is slightly a bit more. It's 0.15 the
Okay.
multiplier. And like you said, it's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It is a must-game win. If not, the Bears are gonna just steamroll and get the second pick there in that group. I think. I really. I mean, I'm only saying this expecting Dalvin Cook to play. I think if Dalvin Cook plays, this is a team that allowed Derrick Henry to steamroll and run the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is probably going to do the same.
Yeah.
The Seahawks defense is not good.
Yeah.
Not even they were exposed in the running game, and even in the passing game, they looked very, very bad with coverage. Very, very poorly. Russell will score. Tyler Lockett will get you again over 2 long-ass touchdowns. But I think, like you said, I think I do believe in Seb's team. I think they're going to win in Minnesota. They have to. If they don't, GG will play for them.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Your team, the Green Bay Packers versus the 49ers at the 49ers. 49ers are -3. I think I know who you're going to be picking in this game. I think I know your pick is going to be +3 Packers.
Are we really the underdogs here? I mean, it isn't. I'm fine.
And also, it's Aaron Rodgers is returning to his hometown, San Francisco. So,
I understand the logic behind this. I understand the defense from the 49ers is solid. I understand this defense has caused us trouble in the last 2 years. I just don't feel threatened anymore by that offense. Not yet, at least. 49ers have a ton of banged up players, especially in the running back team. Brandon Ayuk is still nowhere to be found. George Kittle has struggled. I'm kind of waiting for them to pull out the Trey Lance card at some point. Nothing against Jimmy Garoppolo, it's just that offense is not going anywhere. I mean, I know getting their wins and whatnot, but it hasn't been pretty.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's so close, I think the Packers are going to take a win here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go Packers +3. I thought it would be the other way around. I thought it would be Packers -3. I know the Packers have had a terrible start, or had a terrible start. They kind of redeemed themselves last week, but I just see no threat in the 49ers defense. Elijah Mitchell is probably not playing, so they really have no running backs at the moment. Trey Sermon is still banged up. They might have to put on Kerryon Johnson, who is their...
No, they have that. They picked up that XFL star, Quintus something. No, that's Quintus.
XFL and NFL are very different, so I don't believe in 49ers' ability to run the ball. I don't believe in the 49ers' ability to pass the ball. I think the only hope they have is their defense, and the Packers have a much better offense, I think, compared to the defense. So I'm going to go Packers +3. I think this is a pretty easy one.
Cool. All right, we'll stick through that.
Nice. And then Monday, are we doing Monday Night Football, or are we going to stream on Monday before the Monday night game so we can give our pick then? What are your thoughts?
It almost feels like a crime if we do all of them except the last one.
Okay, then we can do it. Monday Night Football, Eagles at Cowboys. Cowboys are -3.5.
I think the Cowboys take this game.
Yeah, me too. I think it's at Cowboys as well. I think, but this at the same time feels like a Cowboys trap, and by that I mean the Cowboys. They seem to kind of like win against a big team. There's high expectations. Everyone thinks they're gonna win, and then they like falter and lose. I feel like this is one of those Cowboy traps. But the opening line was -6, but it's only -3.5 now. So
yeah, no, I don't know. I do think Prescott is going to have a comeback game.
Yeah.
And I think with what better team to do with the Eagles at home? I think Elliott's going to show up. I think he's going to have a 20+ fantasy point game. He would be my pick of the week, although he's just starter anyway.
Right.
But I just Eagles look very exposed against the 49ers. So
yeah.
Monday night games are always. I may be wrong here, but Monday night games feel heavily sided towards Cowboys. victories.
Right. Yeah.
May be wrong here, but I don't know. I do think they're going to have a good game. I think Cowboys are going to come out swinging, and the line being -3.5, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah. It isn't. It isn't. So yeah, I'm gonna take Cowboys -3.5 on this one.
Oh, and that.
Oh, someone's jumping in. Have we got a guest who's gonna come and say that we said something wrong?
I think so. Maybe join and say something.
It's gonna be about
it's
gonna be about our 49ers pick.
More.
Is anyone?
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello.
there. What's up?
Hello, guys.
We've got a special guest on the show today.
There you go. Finally, the return of the Messiah.
Yeah, let's go.
Are you guys still streaming?
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
still
streaming?
we're still
Yeah?
streaming.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
We're live.
I kind of want to ask you because we just did 49ers and Packers, and we both
Oh, what do you guys
chose
do?
Packers +3, 49ers. Are you gonna go with 49ers -3, or are you gonna go Packers +3?
Nah, Packers +3. I mean, if we're gonna go for those odds,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think as much as I love my 49ers, I think we have been fairly fortunate to play the teams that we've played to start off with.
Hmm.
I mean, the Lions have been surprisingly much better than people have anticipated. I mean, their coach is insane, so I think that grit has actually showed up in how they play. But I think the Packers are going to be the first kind of elite team that
Right.
we end up playing.
Yeah.
So I feel that the Packers are gonna show up, you know,
Right.
and especially because I feel the Packers have so much to prove after that first loss. Like I think the first loss, if you're a Packers fan, like that's the best thing that can happen because like there's a fire that's been lit up
Mm.
like in Rodgers' ass, and
Yeah, I
especially
think
because
so, yeah.
technically this is his contract year and is Devonta Adams' like potential contract year as well.
Hmm.
So like they're not just playing for pride; they're playing for money.
Right.
So I think from now on, like the Packers is going to be a different beast.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. So you were talking about you think the Lions are better than what people are giving them credit for?
Yeah, I mean, considering, I mean, I don't know how many Lions fans are even out there, but for the ones that are all out there, you know, sorry, but you know, considering where, like, you know, where they had a 34-year-old Adrian Peterson being their best running back for the past year. And so to have like finally someone in the form of Jamal Adams and DeAndre Swift, who I'm still having reservations about, but definitely better than a 34-year-old Adrian Peterson. I think they're just a bit better. And to be fair, to give the Lions credit, like their defense isn't too bad. It's just like offense-wise, like who did they have to throw to? Like there's literally no one. There's like is Marvin Jones still there? I know Kenny went to the Giants.
And Marvin Jones is in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so who's literally their top? Who's like Quintez, like that guy?
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to have Tyrell Williams coming in, but he's now in the concussion protocol. He just came back from the AR, back to the AR again.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, even then, like, when was the last time Tyrell Williams had a good year? Like last year with the Raiders, literally did nothing. The year before, I don't even remember who he was with. Like, you're gonna put your wide receiving hopes on a guy that hasn't had a good season in 2 years, 3 years. So I think, you know, for them, like, and it's surprising because there's quite a few decent wide receivers that they can definitely trade for that are not going to be elite, but you know are definitely better than most. Like, you know, if you knew in free agency that you had someone like Juju or T.Y. Hilton that's available, like both of them are way better than whatever they have now, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you not go for them? Or you have Zach Ertz, who was on the trade block for the longest time. Like, get him. Like, you have Hawkinson and you have Zach Ertz. You play 2 tight end sets. You give more protection to your quarterback, and you actually have 2 people that can actually catch a ball.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. So we were talking earlier. So like Ravens are playing the Lions at the Lions. The Ravens are -7.5 clear favorites. Would you take the -7.5? Or are you thinking Lions +7.5? Because we thought it was pretty easy in the end.
Yeah,
even with Lamar Jackson kind of questionable at the moment.
Nah, I'll still take the Ravens. I mean, I think the Ravens' first loss against it was the Raiders, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just was more of a testament to the Raiders than it was to the Ravens.
Yeah, and then turned
Like,
around
no,
and beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, but exactly, right? Like, I think just the Raiders this year are really pretty good. Like, as much as as much as some people might hate to
so
admit it, like
random.
Gruden, it's not that random if you really think about it. I mean, they just needed pace on their wide receivers, which they have, right? They have Brian Edwards, who's pretty good. They have Henry Suggs, who's always been a speed demon,
Yeah.
right? They have Darren Waller, who's easily top 5 tight ends currently in the league.
I would say he's the best tight end right now.
I mean, you still have Kelsey, right? Like, I mean, Kittle this year has been a bit slow to kind of kick things up, but Kelsey's still pretty.
I think based on targets though. So if we're talking, I'm talking about fantasy wise. If we're talking about targets,
fantasy.
We talked about this last week, Gabo, that Darren Waller had 19 targets in one game. Like, Kelsey's never going to get 19. He's going to get, his usual like 4 to 9 maybe.
Yeah,
he did drop 9 of them. So
he did, but I think some of that's on Derek Carr as well. Derek Carr's throwing is sometimes a bit iffy, especially when he's under pressure. Some of those throws were definitely over his head and behind him. So that's the difference between kind of like having Patrick Mahomes and then Derek Carr as your thrower. Anyway,
okay, so I want to do something with you guys super quick, since I have you both. We'll do as the last thing, kind of like to wrap it up, we can do DraftKings tiers.
Wait. Before we do that, what's the odds in all our picks put together?
So that's what I was gonna get there first. So first of all, the number.
It's probably gonna 1 million to 1.
This is actually because you and I pretty much agreed on all but 2 games. So
right.
The first one was Giants Falcons, which we didn't agree on the spread, but we agreed on the money line. So I put the money line there. The only one that we're still missing.
Wait, who did you guys go for money line?
Giants.
Sorry, you went Giants
against Falcons. Yeah. I went
You
Falcons
guys
on the spread.
Giants.
Yeah.
So
sorry, you guys are going Giants against the team that nearly beat the Super Bowl champions, right?
Not nearly. They held them a little while.
No. They held them until the 4th quarter, and then they just like ran out of steam. So you're telling me you're willing to pick Daniel Jones? You're willing to go with Daniel Jones? This is. I wish I was there in the recording for the last stupid ass Steelers pick that we did, but this is the exact same scenario. And then we have a group chat. I'm gonna be like, guys, remember when I said this? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe you had a point.
But I think. I mean, I said this last week as well. But I think Saquon Barkley is gonna have a bigger share. He gets every week. He's getting better and better. So I think this week is.
It doesn't matter if he's getting better. The O-line is non-existent.
True, but he still breaks off big yards. He's got that 41-yard rushing. He didn't get the touchdown, but he was very, very close to getting the touchdown.
And Daniel Jones, he's still delivering the 20
Sterling Shepard's been good.
That he's doing. He's throwing to Sterling Shepard quite a bit. Yeah. Evan Ingram hopefully be getting it back. He's running like crazy. The Falcons, look, yes, it's the same team that almost beat caught up to the Bucks, but it's also the same team that got spanked by the Eagles.
Yeah.
In week 1, so it's still going to be I do in our tiers we still have the Giants above Falcons. Hopefully in the next tier ranking you're there, Omar. We can hear you.
100%.
We were kind to the Falcons though. We did say like they have the weapons there. It's just can Matt Ryan get the ball to them? That's the issue. And can they finish? They get the ball down the field, but they can't finish. I think that's a huge issue for them. So that's why we kind of went. I mean, Giants held their own against Washington. Washington are a semi-decent team. Falcons have not really shown us anything. Like the Detroit Lions came back against San Francisco, but we're not going to rank them that high just because they nearly won. So yeah, that was our thought process. But Gavin, give us the number, man.
Exactly. So this is a 14 parlay bet. We still this is not including the Pittsburgh Bengals game. Yeah, so that's the one we didn't agree on.
Right.
Okay.
Without this game, 8,453.
Oh, on a how much bet?
$1.
$1 bet.
8,000. Yeah.
$1 for 8,000.
I'm probably gonna put that on for $5, man. I'm gonna put $5 on that. We can get our. I can pay for us to get to Vegas, so we can do the live stream from Vegas.
That would be $42,000, man.
Yeah. I think that would pay for Vegas just about.
You think? I'll pay for my wedding, bro.
I don't know. I'd rather go Vegas. I'm kidding.
Just do wedding in Vegas, man. Just to change it.
Best of both worlds. Exactly.
All right,
So
let's do your DraftKings.
This is without. Yeah, but this is we'll do the DraftKings. This is without Steelers. Let's say we put yours, which is a -3 on the Steelers.
Yeah.
This is to 17 grand for $1. So for $5, it turns into 84 grand.
But to be fair, I would pick the Steelers over the Bengals if that is the choice.
You can always do money line. You can do the money line on that. But does the sportsbook allow alternative handicaps? Is there one that's like Steelers +3? I know you'll lose a little bit of money, but then it's a bit more favorable.
I'll tell you right now, Steelers.
Because I think even if the Steelers do lose, I think they'll be at least there or thereabouts.
I only have +3.5 and +2.5
for Steelers. I would do 3.5. It won't be that much, but I think it would be like worth putting on. I'll give you a little extra something.
So that's 12,000.
Nice.
All right, we'll keep it at that. Let's finish it up with some nice
DraftKings
tiers.
Let's
boys.
go. So last week what did we do? Quadruple our money on our tier.
Quadruple our money.
Baby. Let's go.
Quadruple our money from 10 cents to 40 freaking cents.
Let's go.
Hey, if we do that enough, man, we're gonna be rich.
That's true. That's true. All right, we're gonna do Sunday for all the games. All right.
Cool.
And we're gonna do. Because we have another input, another brain. I'm gonna go for the 25 cents, not the.
Okay.
Big baller. Let's go.
So last week, who let us down last week? There was one player that
Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis Landry because he got injured.
Well, he got injured.
Yeah. Right.
So like,
all right, tier number uno. Okay, do you guys want to start from the top or the bottom?
Let's go top to bottom.
Let's go top. Yeah.
All right. Tier number one, we got Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Russell Wilson. I'll repeat: Kyler Murray against Jacksonville, Pat Mahomes against the Chargers, Lamar Jackson against Detroit, assuming he plays, and Russell Wilson against Minnesota.
This is an easy pick. Kyler Murray against.
Yeah, Kyler Murray. Like this is literally no question.
He's gonna take the piss out of those guys. That's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
But then you can argue that eventually, like if you're just going for pure points, you can argue if it's not gonna be even tight, like they're just gonna get their lead and run the ball and waste time, right?
Yeah.
Like it's you kind of need to be strategic. Like you want someone that you know is gonna do well, but then the game is gonna be fairly close enough where they're gonna keep slinging.
You could go with Lamar Jackson if you think Detroit can hang around for long enough. That'll be a high scoring game.
So, what do we decide?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think I'm still keeping
maybe Russell Wilson though, because I think the Vikings and Seahawks game is definitely the closest on paper. That's not. I don't think that's a blowout by any means. So I feel like Russell Wilson's going to have to be slinging bombs to DK and Tyler Lockett quite.
That's not wrong. I mean,
fun fact. Sorry, you remind me of, and this is a bit of a fantasy advice to those who wish. There's this guy called Swain. I don't remember his first name. I think it's maybe Frederick. His last name is Swain on wide receiver on the Seahawks. In terms of separation created between wide receiver and cornerback, Swain leads the league in separation created.
Yes.
So he started as the slot receiver because I think the third option was injured. But at some point, like if he's just burning people 24/7 every single time, either he's going to be traded to someone who wants him as their like outside player, or he's just going to keep getting touches. I mean, he got like 17 fantasy points last week, or like 14, something like that.
And Josh Gordon is back, ladies and gentlemen. The return of Josh Gordon.
How
long is he going to stay this time before eventually being suspended for like the 4th or 5th time? I hope he stays in because he's so good. I don't know how good he'll be this time around because he's getting older, obviously, with every return, but he's so good. It's just I hope he stays like on track, that he doesn't get suspended again. But yeah, that's a huge addition to an offense of wide receivers that is already pretty stacked. But yeah, we need to decide on this.
Yeah, we need to decide. So are we going for Kyler Murray, assuming that they're going to keep feeding him the ball, or Russell Wilson against what we all think that's going to be a very high-scoring match? Russell Wilson is at 600 yards, 6 touchdowns, 26.7 fantasy points per game on average.
And
Kyler
then
Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray is at Jesus. Kyler Murray is at 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but 36.3 fantasy points. So almost 10 more points on average.
I still think you go
guess-
Kyler Murray.
Then Kyler Murray it is then. Alrighty, next up.
Kyler Murray. All right, next up we have Tyler Lockett against Minnesota, Derrick Henry against Indianapolis Colts, Tyreek Hill against the Chargers, DeAndre Hopkins, who's questionable, against Jacksonville, and Dalvin Cook against the Seattle Seahawks, which is again questionable. My pick here is assuming Dalvin Cook plays. I think after what Derrick Henry did to that little offense, that little defense in Seattle, I think Dalvin Cook is going to repeat it.
I'm going Derrick Henry.
Really?
I don't like that Dalvin Cook is injured. I don't like that he could miss time. I don't like that he could come off the field injured or re-injured. Derrick Henry is without doubt the best running back in the league, I think. So I would go Derrick Henry rumbling against those Colts.
So I'm actually gonna go a completely different direction than the both of you. I think if our logic that the Vikings Seahawks might be a close game, and I'm gonna go for one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game, which is Tyler Lockett. I mean, I think I remember reading the chat with you guys, right? And Derrick Henry for the longest time did nothing that game, right? It's only like he suddenly like had a switch and he like decided to get his act together. And honestly, you never know when Ryan Tannehill is gonna start swinging it to AJ Brown and Julio, right? I mean, you can see the connection with Ryan and Julio getting better. Maybe AJ Brown will stop dropping every single ball that's thrown to him. But to me, the safer bet is Tyler Lockett, personally.
Do you want to guess how many times Henry rushed the ball against the Seattle Seahawks?
How many?
You know that?
Was it in the 20s?
35.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Man, you just got to go
35.
Derrick Henry on volume, man. Honestly, that's
I guess
that's
Henry
me.
on
That's
volume.
me. That's
35 rushing attempts and 5 passes.
Also, under our thesis are that we said that the Colts are probably going to get beaten by the Titans. I think the Titans just go to the running game when they're in the lead. I really do.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
They'll probably air the ball out to Julio and AJ in the first half, and then after that, every single game it's the same. It's Derrick Henry in the second half. So
Okay.
That's why I would go with that. But I like what Omar said because that's 100% true. I would go with that if Derrick Henry was not in that tier. But because Derrick Henry is in that tier, I think you kind of it's hard to pass on him, honestly.
True. I think I'm swayed. I think with the Dalvin Cook injury, you're right. Even if he does play, like
Yeah.
we'll see how much he. So I'm down to go Derrick Henry here. Tier number 3. This is gonna be a tough one.
Okay.
It's very, very, very tough one. I'm gonna start with. Okay, I'm gonna leave the last 2 that I think is where we're gonna decide with at the end. So first of all is Travis Kelce against the Chargers,
Okay.
Stephon Diggs against Washington, Alvin Kamara against the Patriots, and the 2 of my choices here are Darren Waller against Miami and Cooper Kupp against Tampa Bay.
You have to go Cooper Kupp, I think.
I think so as well.
Just based on his perfect performances 2 games in a row now. He's wide receiver 1, right?
Wide receiver 1, 11 targets last week. 16 receptions so far.
I think also with if Darrell Henderson is out, they can't really be running the ball that much, and I think they're going to be behind the Bucs a little bit.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be a bit of a catch-up game for the Rams. So that's why I would go. I'm very close on Darren Waller, but he wasn't that great against the Steelers.
Omar smiling. What are you thinking, Omar?
I mean, so are both of you going Cooper Kupp? I'm not just saying this to be different. I think I understand Cooper Kupp's value, and on paper it makes perfect sense. But the Bucs defense is terrifying. Like, they are going to get Stafford. The Rams O-line is not that. The Rams D-line is fantastic. Rams O-line, not that great. And I would assume because Kupp has been on form, he's going to be up against Jalen Ramsey, who's not exactly the easiest person to shake off. So sorry, he's going to be against what's his name? Not Jalen Ramsey. Sorry. I forgot the guy's name. The cornerback in the Bucks.
I can't remember.
Anyway, sorry. But point being, like, he's just going to garner a lot of attention, right? And the Bucks defense is so good, they are going to get to Matthew Stafford so quickly. Like, the Rams O-line is not that fantastic.
I mean, good enough that they allowed 8 points from Matt Ryan.
It's like 25.
Okay.
But also remember, the Bucks gave up 139 yards to Amari Cooper and 104 yards to CeeDee Lamb. That's two wide receivers got over.
Yeah, but okay.
yards.
You cannot use the first game of the season as a metric for anything. Like, literally, the Packers lost. The Packers got destroyed in their first game. Like, Saints blew out. Saints were up like 38-3. So, like, you know, like, that's not a metric. The first games to me are not an accurate metric of anything. However, based on that, I think the Patriots are gonna continue sucking so badly. And if the Saints are so unreliant on Jameis, like, the easiest thing is just to throw it to Kamara, who's literally the most consistent running back to exist in the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that with Kamara, but
yeah, we did.
Just
to me, I would go Kamara just because I think Gabby, you're the one who was saying, like, you maybe saw it on a podcast or something else, that, like, he's one of the most he's the dumbest person to underrate.
Yeah, the dumbest person to doubt. Yeah.
To doubt, yeah. So, like, with Cooper Kupp, you just don't know when he's gonna get clamped. But with Kamara, you know he's gonna get the volume, you know he's gonna get the reception. And you know touch wood, I don't want this another CMC episode where he doesn't get injured. But yeah, I mean, look, I will go with the masses. This is a democratic vote. If we're going to go Cooper Kupp, we're going to go Cooper Kupp. I'm just saying.
I'll do a majority plus, and then I'll throw all your picks and see what you do. And then
fine. You know what? I'm more than happy. I will share the spoils with everyone as well.
All right. Tier number 4, we got Terry McLaurin against Buffalo Bills, Nick Chubb against Chicago, Austin Eckler against Kansas City, Justin Jefferson against Seattle, Calvin Ridley against the Giants, and DK Metcalf against the Vikings.
Oh, that's difficult.
That's a hard one.
I like Eckler here, I like Jefferson here, and I like DK Metcalf here.
Has Justin Jefferson even done anything this year, though? Because I was under the impression that he hasn't... An amazing wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he's got the volume yet. Is that correct, or am I completely wrong?
He's had 10 targets week 1, 9 targets week 2.
Or the catch rate, that's the important thing here.
Yeah, out of the 19 targets, he's got 11 receptions, 136 yards.
That doesn't... I think DK Metcalf is better than that, correct?
Yeah.
I guess the Vikings no less.
DK has had 16 targets, 10 receptions,
that's pretty much the same, to be honest. And Austin Eckler, I don't think he's been that good, right? Like, they haven't...
Oh, but against the Chiefs defense, I like it.
He's only had 111 yards. That stinks. 24 carries.
Look,
what were the other options?
Nick Chubb against the Bears, McLaurin against the Bills, Calvin Ridley against the Giants.
I might like Calvin Ridley the most, to be honest.
I like Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin the most.
I think all those options are really tough to choose from, to be honest with you. But I think Calvin Ridley, he just gets the volume, and he's against the Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I like Calvin Ridley. Let's move on to tier 5. We got a quarterback.
Okay.
Quarterback tier. Josh Allen against Buffalo Bills. Justin Herbert against the Chiefs.
Josh Allen is on the Buffalo Bills. Who is he playing?
Sorry, against Washington.
Okay.
Justin Herbert against the Chiefs. Teddy Bridgewater against the Jets. Matthew Stafford against Tampa. Kirk Cousins against Seattle. And Tom Brady against Rams.
Oh, that's difficult.
Oh.
There's a lot of good choices.
Wait, can you say it again, please?
Okay, so we got Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford playing against each other.
Okay.
We got Kirk Cousins playing against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
We have Teddy Bridgewater against the Jets.
Oops.
Josh Allen against Washington Football. And Justin Herbert against the Chiefs.
Teddy Bridgewater, 10 out of 10. He's against the Jets. The Jets suck. Josh Allen actually has had very underwhelming performances. Like, I know the Bills have won, but like his own personal performance has been very subpar. I don't know what's wrong, but like you're just gonna play the hot hand. Teddy Bridgewater has been playing phenomenal football, and with Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, you're pretty much going with who you think is going to win the game, and that game is so close. Like unless you are very convinced that one team specifically is going to win, I guess you can kind of follow your choice with the money line. Like it is going to be very hard to figure out because honestly any defense can explode. Any of those and any at the same time, either of them can also do well. So I feel the same for one study.
Here's my thing. I think you're right. That game's going to be close. Rams and Bucks, but I think that's the reason why I would pick one of those. And because of that, not just because of that, but Darrell Henderson is out on the Rams. So these are two quarterbacks that are going to rely on the passing game all game.
More so, Matt. If he's going to be out of it, then
I think either. I mean, the Tampa has shown that the run game is not what does it for them.
Yeah,
it's the passing game. And for me on the Broncos side, I think the whole logic is perfect. That he's a great quarterback, but I think they're just gonna get ahead and just pass it to Melvin Gordon and let Melvin Gordon run the game. I think they're just gonna let the ball run, let the time pass. I think Teddy Bridge will get to maybe the 16, 17 points, 18 points, and then that's it, and then that's stop. I don't see an upside unless the game is close. So I'm thinking. I personally have great thoughts on Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's gonna have another big 30-plus game. Right now, I'll tell you, Tom Brady's is 31.4 fantasy points per game on average. Teddy Bridgewater's 22.3, and Matthew Stafford's 22.8. So Matthew Stafford and Teddy Bridgewater are pretty close. Tom Brady is like 10 points ahead. Gronkowski is killing it, guys. Gronkowski is. I only wish I didn't sleep on him so much, and I didn't for fantasy purposes. Like just grab him at the 10th, 11th round as a second tight end.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a tricky one because I like your analysis on like Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's just gonna. I think they're gonna destroy the Jets. It's just, I think it'd be probably smarter maybe to get someone from the Bucks or the Rams. Just because I think it's going to be an actual shootout rather than, I don't know if I haven't watched the Broncos. I don't know if they're up and they start running the ball a lot and Melvin Gordon gets all those yards. So I'm unsure. I would go Tom Brady just because Leonard Fournette's not that good or efficient. He's not like someone who's going to get you like a 30-yard breakout run. He's someone who's going to get you like those 2 yards after a pass. I really do think all the touchdowns seem to go to Gronk or Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. Their offense has been explosive. Every game has been high scoring. They haven't really put up like low points. I think you kind of have to go Tom Brady. He's been the best quarterback so far. So I would just give
another shootout. Another shootout would be Kirk Cousins against the Seattle Seahawks. I just can't put my money on.
No. We've done one mistake by putting we've done one mistake by putting our money on the Vikings. Let's not do another mistake.
Fair enough. Look, Omar, I've put down Teddy Bridgewater for your bets, so I'm gonna put Kamara Lock and Teddy Bridgewater in your DraftKings.
All right, well, we'll go Tom Brady for yours, guys.
We're locking Tommy Brady. All right, we have Tier 6 Adam Thielen against Seattle, Keenan Allen against the Chiefs, Chris Carson against Minnesota, Najee Harris against the Bengals, Jonathan Taylor against Tennessee, and Saquon Barkley against Atlanta.
Can't believe Saquon.
Dan is looking at Saquon Barkley. It's like...
I would go Najee Harris. I really think Najee is the play. After last year.
I think he had a beast of a game. I don't like Chris Carson, personally. Adam Thielen would be a nice... Keenan Allen based on PPR only. Like,
I just prefer a running back in this one. I think.
Actually, he had 4 receptions last game. Keenan Allen had 4 receptions last game.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. I think the only 2 I would pick is probably, I'll pick Saquon and I'll pick Najee. It would have to be one of them. And I mean, if you guys feel Saquon is getting better and better, And honestly, if the Giants don't have any weapons, then like he's literally their only like the only issue I have with the Steelers. If we're convinced they're gonna beat the Bengals, like they have Chase Claypool, they have Juju, they have like their tight ends, like they still have Eric Ebron, they have the rookie that they got, Pat Framier or whatever, who's apparently pretty good, who's apparently the next best ranked tight end after Kyle Pitts this draft class. So, like, if you're just going on pure individual performance, it might be worth getting Saquon.
I might agree with you on that, actually. Barkley finally has no injury designation. He had 84% of the snaps last game. That's going to increase. And I think he has Atlanta to face instead of Najee that has the Bengals defense, which is looking pretty nice. The Bengals stopped David Montgomery quite a bit. I think the safest play and with more upside, I think, is actually Saquon Barkley. I think Dan.
Yeah, I mean it's your calls, guys.
That's fine by me.
You said Barkley too, Omar? Well,
yep.
Did we agree? Did we all agree?
Yep. Yeah.
Totally agree. All right, 2 more. Tier 7, we got Mike Williams against the Chiefs, Chris Godwin against the Rams, Joe Mixon against the Steelers, David Montgomery against the Browns, Mike Evans against the Rams, Julio Jones against the Colts, both Julio Jones and AJ Brown in this tier against the Colts, and Allen Robinson against the Browns. So again, I'll repeat: Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, Allen Robinson.
I like David Montgomery here.
Yeah. I think out of all the names you've mentioned, I'd say Montgomery and Julio are probably the only 2 I'd go for. Yeah.
How's the rush D for Cleveland?
Well, it wasn't good against the Texans. It was not that good, and the Texans don't have anyone special running the ball. They have Mark Ingram, and the Browns also gave up a ton of penalties to holding.
Yeah.
I think I agree. I mean, there's 2. It's Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or Julio Jones and AJ Brown. I don't like those toss-ups.
Yeah.
Because it's either one or the other. That's gonna. Oh.
It's a crowded
then you have
for wide receivers.
Then you have Joe Mixon against the Steelers D. Not really a big fan, and so that leaves Montgomery and Allen Robinson. So it's essentially the Chicago Bears. Are they going to run or are they going to throw the? Are they going to pass? I think Chicago takes this game, so I think it favors the run game. So I'm down if you guys are all still agreeing with David Montgomery.
Yep, let's do it. Lock it in.
Cool. And last but not least, I'm assuming this is okay. No, oh my God, dear Lord. Okay, so we have Robert Woods.
Okay.
Chase Edmonds against Jacksonville, which I think is a nice start. Tyson Williams against Detroit. Cortland Sutton against the Jets. Sterling Shepard against the Falcons. Marquise Brown against the Lions, not a fan. TJ Hawkinson against the Ravens. And Robert Gronkowski against the Rams.
I got TJ Hawkinson.
I think TJ is killing it.
Really?
Yeah.
20 targets, 16 receptions, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23.2 average fantasy points per game. This guy is a monster. There is no other weapon in that team.
That's
no
true.
other weapon.
That's true. I'll go with that actually. Then you guys. I was gonna say Gronk, just because like you're playing the hot hand. But I mean, if
he's touchdown
that person
dependent,
is,
though, I think.
Yeah, very touchdown dependent. Exactly.
No, look, DJ Hawkinson is against the 32 best defense against tight ends.
Then okay, say less. Sold.
Everything is pointed at TJ Hawkinson. All right, so we'll call it that. Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry, Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Tom Brady, Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, and TJ. Right. Did I say TJ? Yeah, TJ Hawkinson. Yes.
Yep.
Submit it, and we'll see where that goes.
See where we end up. See if we quadruple our money.
Quadruple our money again. Yeah.
Let's go.
Sweet. So we did it. We did it, boys.
Damn, that was a long stream. 1 hour and 43 minutes.
Woof.
A long stream. Nice bets. Hopefully, people that listened or be Rich with us as well.
Yee.
We'll see. All right.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Remember to gamble responsibly if you're following us. We're not experts. We're just three idiots just giving our opinion.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, have fun. Enjoy the NFL weekend. We'll be streaming tomorrow morning or afternoon, whenever. More NFL stuff, I'm sure. Probably more fantasy related as well. And we'll have probably all four of us this time for the first time in a while. All four of us, hopefully. So that'll be awesome. So Omar, Gabo, thank you.